In this video, we'll look at using reading a digital I/O to create sequence jumps and loops. Currently, I have a Listen Amp Connect and an NI6503 connected to my computer. Both of these can be configured as an input DIO. The first step is to configure your hardware in the Setup Hardware table. My Amp Connect shows up under the Listen Hardware tab. The Control section is where I set up the DIO. Right now, bit 1 is low, but every other bit is high. We'll take note of that as we go through the sequence. I have a switch connected that will change that when engaged. On the External tab is where my 6503 is configured. You can see it's device ID 1, I have 3 ports, and all 3 ports are set to input. We communicate with these devices using message steps. I'll drop a message step in, switch it to digital I/O, and this is going to be using the 6503 I had configured. These checkboxes are what bits I'll be reading. Right now I'm reading bit 0 and looking for it to be low. If that is true, over here in the settings, I'll configure this step to pass. I run the step, and it fails. Bit 1 on my device is actually high. I'll open up the message step again, still read bit 0, but I'll expect it to be high instead of low. I run the step again, and now you can see the color indicator is green for pass. If I want to use an Amp Connect DIO, I'll actually use a specific Amp Connect message step. Click Configure Hardware, and we see the same screen we saw in the Hardware tab. These numbers are the bits 0 through 7. At the bottom, R will read and W will write. Again, I know that bit 1 is low, everything else is high. I'll configure them all to read and run the step. I click Start, and the step indicator turns to green, so it passes. Now I'm going to make a loop that is a common use case for a DIO. I will add a display before the message step, and then add another display after the message step. I'll configure my message step to jump on pass to the first display. I'll enable the loop index, but set the repetitions extremely high. So if this loop continues 500 times, it will eventually just jump out of the loop and go to the final display. As long as this DIO is in the same state, this will loop forever. And in this display step, I'm just going to rename them so it makes a little bit more sense. And I will display the loop index here so we can see how many times it is actually run. And on the final display, I'm just going to get rid of the XY graphs and write finished. I click Start, and you can see this looping very quickly. Now I'll just abort the sequence. So I want to loop forever until I click this switch on my Amp Connect. I'm going to change the name from loop index to times looped and run the test again. So I click Start and enter the loop. I click the button on the Amp Connect, the message step fails, and it jumps out of the loop.